Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
There is word here that President Trump could make some sort of announcement today that could end the TSA staffing shortage, possibly an executive order. Well, to find out what the president can and cannot do, joining us now is Professor Alan Dershowitz. And Professor, I know you got a new book coming out, which we'll get to, but it's about maybe Trump doing a third term. Democrats are going to pop a cork.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, the only way it could happen is if we still were in a war and we were really at risk and the Democrats nominate AOC or Warren or Murphy or one of these real radicals, and then the Republicans say to themselves, look, we have to win this election, and the only way to do it is by having Trump serve a third term. And the book provides 7 ways in which that could be done constitutionally. The framers of the Constitution wanted to prevent a president from serving a third term, but they rejected 6 or 7 proposals that would have disallowed it. They would have said he can't serve, he can't act, he can't be. Instead, they said he can't be elected to a third term. So there are ways of getting around that, and this book goes through all of those ways and explains the pros and the cons. I actually showed it to President Trump in the Oval Office. He got a big kick out of it.
I can't wait. Now, what do you think that Trump could do, the president could do with the TSA issues? Because the lines are wrapping around the corner at airports, and there's word that they may have to even shut down some airports next week. Could he do some executive order today to get them paid?
No doubt he could. There's no doubt he has the authority to see that the laws are implemented for the purpose of defending the rights of the American people. And this is an emergency, and he has emergency powers. And if his lawyers sit down, they can figure out ways under existing statutes where he can divert money from certain other areas and give it to the TSA. We saw that Elon Musk said he's willing to pay him from his own pocket. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the idea that American workers are not being paid, we're the richest country in the world, and these people are going to go home and not be able to feed their family, it's absurd. That can't happen.
It is absurd. Judge Weinberg, your thoughts?
I think you're exactly right. I think he declares an emergency, and he does it. And by the way, Musk can loan him the money.
You know, and also, you guys, Congress is going on break too. That's the other issue. Why I think he has to act.
Paid break.
Yeah, paid break. A 2-week vacation, right?
Going on break. Yeah, they're going on paid vacation. Whereas the people who are going to work every day aren't getting paid. There's something very, very wrong with that. And I think the American public is probably 98% behind that. And if he did do something to get these guys paid, the American public would stand behind him 98%.
And Alan, you know, as a great litigator, put it in place, start paying them, let the Democrats go into court and argue that he can't do it. In the meantime, you're feeding them and you're paying them.
Yeah, but they'll find a judge somewhere in Massachusetts or in Brooklyn, and the judge, you know, who hears one word, Trump, and says, I'm ruling against him. You know, there are so many judges today who have Trump derangement syndrome, and so many people around the war, too. You know, you look at the polls. The polls show that the vast majority of Republicans favor the war, and the vast, vast majority of Democrats don't. This is the most important war we fought since the Second World War. If President Trump had been the president of the United States in 1935 and had engaged in preventive war against Adolf Hitler, it could have prevented the Second World War and the Holocaust. You know, preventive wars, if they're done right, and it's being done right here because Iran is being prevented from developing nuclear weapons, and we'll never know what would have happened had the opposite taken place. If they would have developed nuclear weapons, they're not going to be allowed to. So we don't know how many lives are going to be saved. We only know about the 13 lives that have tragically been taken by American heroes, and that's a tremendous cost. But if in fact it would have taken thousands and millions maybe of lives that would have been taken had Iran been able to develop and deploy nuclear weapons. And President Trump said, you know, they were within days of having 11 atomic bombs. And if they had used it, just imagine the number of deaths that the United States may have prevented. And so we have to look at both sides of that, not only the cost of the war, which is expensive, but the cost of not going to war, which could be much more expensive sometimes.
Yeah, and they would have used it. I mean, these are fanatics. They're zealots. Ed Cox.
And don't forget the potential. They were developing an intercontinental missile. They prove they can go 2,500 miles, and they say they have a space program. That's an intercontinental missile they're talking about.
There's no question about that. It's just a question of time. They have already, reached where they can get to the middle of Europe, and they can get to the islands in the Indian Ocean, and it's always just a matter of degree. And you don't know about it. You don't know what you don't know. And we don't want to learn that they've developed an intercontinental missile only after they fired it. That's why this nonsense about the fact that the threat has to be imminent. No, it's too late when it's imminent. That's what happened in the Second World War. The British and the French waited until it was imminent. By that time, Germany had built up its army to the point where they couldn't be defeated. What Donald Trump did, he said it doesn't have to be imminent. It's certain. We know they're going to do it. And so he went in with the help of the Israelis and destroyed their navy, destroyed their rockets, destroyed their launchers. That's what a preventive war should do. I have a whole book on it called The Preventive State, where I argued 2 years ago for a preventive war against Iran, and I'm glad that this war is taking place. I hope it ends. I hope it ends on terms that guarantee that Iran can never pose a threat to the United States or to American allies. And look, I would hope there'd be regime change, but that's a very difficult thing to do when you have a regime that shoots down innocent people and kills thousands and thousands of protesters, including a 19-year-old wrestler who opposed the regime. So
it's horrible.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
It is.
President Trump's doing the right thing. I support him 100%.
I agree.
When you watch CNN, you read the New York Times, you think he's losing.
I agree, 100%. It's alternate universe, and bravo for him for going in for history. Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. We love you, Professor. Thank you. And guys, what do we all stand for? Truth, justice, and the American way. God bless America.